Good morning, students. In process costing, today we are going to prepare illustration sum number 11, normal and abnormal losses with the scrap value. In manufacturing a product, 1000 kilos of raw material at rupees 8 per kg were supplied to process X. Other expenses of the process were as follows. Labor cost 2000 rupees, production expenses 1000 rupees. Normal loss in the process has been estimated at 10% of the input and it could be sold at rupees 2 per kg. 2 rupees per kg. The actual output in this process was 880 kilos, which was transferred to process Y. Prepare process X account and abnormal loss account. Okay. So from this information, first we need to prepare two account. What are the process X account and abnormal loss account? Okay. First we are going to prepare process X account. So for that, write the heading and the format. Let's come to the question. In manufacturing a product, 1000 kilos of raw material at rupees 8 per kgs. Okay. So the cost per kilo is 8 rupees. How much for 1000 kgs? So for that we need to find out the 1000 kgs of 1000 kg raw materials value. We need to multiply 1000 kilos into 8 rupees. The value of raw material is 8000. Okay. So we need to enter the raw material value is 8000 rupees entered. How much the input kilos? 1000 kilos. So the raw material 1000 kilos introduced and 8000 rupees value. The cost of the raw material is 8000. Got it? So what are the other input items we have? Labor cost 2000 and production expenses 1000 rupees. So all the input expenses also enter on debtor side. Accordingly, labor and the production expenses entered on debtor side. Now we need to find out the total cost of the process X account. Okay. So for that, the input, all the total input values added together, you got 11,000 rupees. The total input 1000 kilos entered as the total. The same total is to be entered on creditor side. 11,000 rupees and 1000 kilos entered. Let's come to the question. The normal loss in the process has been 10%. It is calculated with the input value 1000 kilos. And the actual output is in this process was 880 kilos. Okay. Let's find out abnormal normal loss value. Normal loss, kilos of normal loss and abnormal loss. Okay. We have the small calculation here. Okay. So how much input we have? 1000 kilos. It will normal loss is 10%. Normal loss is 10% always calculated with the input. So for that 10% is calculated with 1000 kilos. You will get 100 kilos. The normal loss is 100 kilos. Okay. Then the normal loss is subtracted from 1000 kilos. Okay. After subtracted 1000 kilos with 100 kilos, you will get normal output 900 kilos. Okay. So the normal, as per the format, normal output is always calculated. That means subtracted with the actual output. The how much actual output we have in the question? 880 kilos. Okay. So that 880 kilos is subtracted with actual output is subtracted with the normal output 900 kilo. The difference between the 900 and the 880 kilos, you will get the 20 kilos. Okay. So okay, how can you find out if that 20 kilo is called as abnormal loss? We have the format to find out the abnormal loss through the format. Okay. What is that? The abnormal output is greater than the actual output, then it is called as abnormal loss. Okay. So accordingly here, normal output is greater than the actual output. So it is called as abnormal loss. Okay. So we find out the abnormal loss 20 kilos. Okay. I will say the another format. If the normal output is lesser than the actual output, then it is called as abnormal gain. Okay. So accordingly, here we have the actual output is lesser than the normal output. So for that we got abnormal loss 20 kilos. Okay. Now we are going to enter in process account normal loss unit 100 kilos and actual output already given in the question, and abnormal loss we find out now after the calculation 20 kilos. is to be entered on creditor side of the process X account. Why? Because normal loss and abnormal loss and output will always shows on creditor side of the process account. Accordingly, normal loss 100 kg is entered and the abnormal loss 20 kilos is entered on creditor side, and the output value 880 is entered. Okay, now we need to find out the scrap value of the normal loss. Okay, so the scrap value is given in the question. Okay, listen here carefully. The normal loss 10% of input is calculated and find out the normal loss is 100 kilos, right? Then that 100 kilos is calculated, normal loss is calculated with the scrap value 2 rupees per kilo. Okay, this the cost per scrap value is 2 rupees. Okay, how much for 100 kilos? So for that we need to multiply 2 rupees into 100 kilos. You will get the scrap value is 200 rupees. So the scrap value of normal loss is 200 rupees. Find out. Now we need to find out abnormal loss value. What is the value of abnormal loss? Abnormal loss we know 20 kgs. Now we need to find out the value of abnormal loss. Before we find out the value of abnormal loss, we need to find out the cost per kg. Cost per kg. Okay. So we have the format to find out the cost per kilo. Okay. Before we are going to prepare the value of abnormal loss. First we need to find out cost per kg. Okay, cost per kilo. So we have the format to find out the cost per kilo. What is that? The expenditure of the process minus scrap value. Okay, scrap value of the normal loss. What is the cost of the process X account? The total cost of the process X account is 11,000 rupees. What is the scrap value of normal loss? 200 rupees. Okay, so it is to be subtracted. So 11,000 subtracted with 200 rupees. That means the total cost of the process X account is 11,000 rupees. The scrap value of normal loss is 200 rupees. Okay, after subtracted you will get 10,800. Then that 10,800 is divided by normal output 900. Okay, so where is the normal output? We have, after subtracted the normal loss 100 kilos from 1000 kgs of input, you will get the normal output 900 kilos. Got it? So the normal output here we have to enter the normal output. So the 10,800 divided by normal output 900, you will get the cost per unit 12 rupees. Okay, what is the cost per unit? Per kilo is 200 rupees, 12 rupees. Okay, how much abnormal loss we have? 20 kilos. Okay, so now the normal loss is 20 kilos. Per kilo is 12 rupees. How much for 20 kilos? So for that we need to multiply 20 kilos into cost per kilo 12 rupees. Okay, after multiplied you will get 240 rupees. The value of normal loss is 240 rupees. Okay, so it will be entered on creditor side. The value of normal loss 240 rupees. Then we need to find out output value of output. Okay, so we know the output kilos given in the question 880. They already given output cost. Okay, that means output value. Listen, actual output they given in the question. Okay, so we entered the actual output 880 kilos. Now we need to find out our actual output value. How can you find out the actual output value? First you will add creditor side total. Okay, so 200 plus 240 you will get 440 rupees creditor side total. Then it is to be subtracted from the total cost. So 440 subtracted from 11,000, that means the total cost of the process X account, you will get the output value 10,560. So the output cost is 10,560 we have, and output value, actual output we have 880 rupees. Okay, against this value you are going to write by process Y account, because what is the, which account is next for the process Y X account? Process Y account is the next account for the process X account. So for that, against this output value you are going to write by process Y account, because it will be transferred to the next account. Okay, so then the important information is that the cost per unit is entered into the process X account. It will be entered. Okay, let's prepare abnormal loss account. Listen here, they asked us to prepare two accounts. What are they? Process X account, process X account, and the abnormal loss account. Process X account now we completed. Now we are going to prepare abnormal loss account. Before we are going to prepare the abnormal loss account, look at the question here in process X account. Where is abnormal loss account is located? Okay, if you know clearly only, you can easily enter the abnormal. You can easily prepare the abnormal loss account separately. Okay. So for that, abnormal loss account is located on creditor side of the process X account. Got it? And its value is 20 kilo and 240 rupees. Okay. So it will be transferred to debtor side of the abnormal loss account. Got it? So accordingly, let's take the abnormal loss account. Its value is entered on debtor side of the abnormal loss account. It will be transferred from which account? Process X account. So for this, again this value you are going to write to process X account, because it will be transferred from this value is to be transferred from which account? Process X account. So for that, we entered to process X account, and its value is 20 kilos and 240 rupees. The total of abnormal loss account 20 kilos and 240 rupees. Enter on both the sides, debtor and creditor side. Enter the total. After enter the total, let's calculate the creditor side value. We need to tally this value 20 kilo and 240 rupees. Okay. In creditor side, the same kilo enter on creditor side 20 kilo. Okay, how much abnormal loss we have? 20 kilo we have the abnormal loss. Okay, that 20 kilo is to be selling through scrap value 2 rupees. Listen, look at the question. How much scrap value we have? 2 rupees. That 2 rupees is to be calculated with, to find the value of abnormal loss and the normal loss is through scrap value 2 rupees only. We calculated the normal loss is 200 rupees scrap value. Same that 2 rupees is calculated with the abnormal loss, 20 kilos of abnormal loss. We will get the scrap value of abnormal loss. So for that, the 2 rupees of a scrap value is to be multiplied with the abnormal loss 20 kilo. You will get the scrap value of abnormal loss is 40 rupees. The 20 kilos abnormal loss selling through scrap value 2 rupees. The cost of the abnormal loss value is 40 rupees entered here. Okay. So then we need to find out the balancing figure. Okay. So to scrap value 40 rupees is abnormal scrap value 40 rupees is subtracted from the total 240. You will get 200 rupees balancing figure. Okay, the 200 rupees balancing figure is transferred to the P&L account. So for that, against this 200 rupees, you are going to write by costing of a P&L account. In P&L account, it is transferred to loss side. Okay. So do you have any doubt? Please comment into the comment box. Thank you.